All right, this is one of the more stranger interviews that I'm going to have to do because, having known this man for a very, very long time, it's weird that I'm now in a position where I have to actually interview Chris Porcianko from Vanishing Point. We went to high school together. How are you, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm bloody great. You've come in with a wonderful gift pack of your entire back catalogue of Vanishing Point.
Yeah, Santa Claus comes in March, man.
I like it. I like it. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to pick a couple of songs, like from old stuff, as well as something from Distance is the Sun, the new one.
Yeah, all right. No worries, man. Sounds good.
All right. Now, give us the latest. Distant is the Sun is the very latest offering from you guys. You gave me a little bit of a sneak preview of this a while back, and I've played a couple of songs from the album, and I will continue to do so.
Thanks, man.
So give us the rundown. I mean, this is a couple of years in the making.
Yeah, it is, man. It's basically, a lot of people started looking upon us and going, okay, what happened to us? Back in 2007 was our last album release, which was the 4th season. In 2008, we did a lot of touring. We'd supported Iron Maiden here in Australia, in Perth and Melbourne, and then we supported also Halloween, Joe Satriani, did our own headlining shows and other gigs.
Just a couple of little supports.
Yeah, and then we went off to Europe to support Sonata Arctica, which was a tour that we did all through Europe, from everywhere from Sweden down to Portugal and Spain, the whole lot. 2009, we were writing, playing shows. 2010, we were writing. Things weren't going well to plan. Pretty much a few of the members left the band. And we was like in limbo for a while. It was pretty much like, for 3 months, we were pretty much non-existent, to be honest with you. In that time, in the studio that I have at home, which I've nicknamed the Igloo because I run the air conditioner on there all the time.
Is that why you walked into this studio and went, Jesus, it's cold in here? You went, it's beautiful.
This is like home. So I started writing some tunes at home, and Christian and Silvio, actually, who were the remaining members who stayed with the band, listened to the songs, and they said, look, we really like these tunes, let's keep going. And that's what we did. We started recording mid to late 2011. 2012, we stopped for a short time due to, some family members passing away, etc., whatever, and some, things going on in our lives. We got back on the horse, started recording, and finished the album 2013. Waiting for, things to work out with the label, etc. We had a label overseas. We have had a label overseas that's been hunting us down for quite a while, and we've signed up with them, which is AFM Records, and the album was released just recently.
Fantastic.
Everything's going all right.
I've got too many questions to go. I'm going to go with the one that's straight off the top.
Any question you want, man.
AFM Records, where are they based, and how did they find you and track you down?
They're based in Hamburg in Germany, actually. It's Germany for this type of music that we do is pretty much the mecca for it. There's a guy called Timo Hoffman there who's the head of A&R there. So he was, strangely enough, many years ago when we were signed with our previous label, Dockyard One Records, he was playing our stuff on a radio show that he was doing. And he messaged me through Facebook and he said, look, I've been really listening to your stuff. I've been digging stuff for a long time. I've been, following your music and your career and all that, and, whatever the career is part-time, But he said, I've been following what you're doing, and I'm interested to see if you guys would be interested in coming over to AFM. I'm like, wow. And he said, look, man, with Embrace the Silence, when they came out years ago, that was actually the most played album on his radio show. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, this guy's pretty serious about what he's talking about. So we just got talking, and it led to from there, we just signed with AFM. Everything that they promised to do, they've done so far.
That's got to be refreshing.
It is, man, because it's not like we had to send out, albums and press kits everywhere. And like, I've been doing this for 25 years. It was just like, you know what? If it gets out there, it gets out there. If it doesn't, I don't care, because, I just like to create music more or less. And with AFM, they're just like, look, we really like this album. We want to do something with it. They got one of the biggest distribution networks in Europe, which is Soul Food Music. And so the album's doing really well. We're getting good press,
awesome.
Good feedback, and I've got promotional representatives from all different countries going, okay, this is your interview schedule for the next week, whatever. It's like, oh, okay. So I've just learned to use Skype from all this, man.
That's awesome.
I'm so backwards.
But that's great. That's amazing. It's great to like you said, you think it's a part-time thing, and other people around the world are keeping track on what you're doing, and then they want to be a part of it.
I'm just a scrap metal guy from Hallam, man. I'm a southeastern suburbs boy like you, dude.
You know what this means, though? This means that you're going to have to go over to Europe again.
Well, that's pretty much what the plan is. I mean, look, if we can go over Europe this year, that'd be fantastic. If it's not this year, definitely be next year. That's for sure. But in the meantime, we've got a few shows coming up. We've also got a headlining tour of New Zealand coming up end of next month. We've got a few things in the pipeline. We're hoping to get to Southeast Asia later on this year as well. So things are going good.
Yeah. When you mentioned, I saw you. What was that gig that was out at
Kensington? Was
Kensington?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kensington Revolt Art Space.
Yeah, that was great. What you had? Was you a new guitarist on then?
Yeah, James. Yeah, James.
He's a freak.
Man, James he's a southeastern suburbs boy.
Is
as
he
well,
really?
Man. See, the rest of the guys are all from the western suburbs.
Yeah.
James is the first guy in Vanishing Point who's actually from the southeastern suburbs. So him being a guitarist and all too is awesome. But we catch up quite often. And we actually carpool to rehearsal together because we rehearsed in Tullamarine.
Right. Well, that's handy.
Yeah. CityLink loves me, man. But but in general, look, it's really good. James is 28, 29-year-old player. He's an amazing guitarist. He's one of these guys, if Dream Theater brings out a new album, he's one of them dudes that has to transcribe and learn all the solos straight away because he's a massive fan. So,
speaking of Dream Theater, this is my segue through to Dean Wells, who you can't find a bigger Dream Theater fan.
That's right.
Now, did he help you with this one? Because I remember, I'm skipping over questions here, but I remember when you were... when you did start writing, and I thought, shit, you're writing at home. Excellent. When do I get stuff? And I kept bugging you about giving me new stuff. But then it had to get made with Dean's help.
That's right. Basically, this is the first time in Vanishing Point's history that we recorded the album initially with just one guitarist being myself. So I'm used to playing in a band with another guitarist there, so to feed off that energy as well. And what basically happened was after the rhythm guitars were recorded with Erman at Systematic Productions, we went to Dean Wells at Shredville Studios, which is like the guitar maker in Melbourne, pretty much with Dean, from Terramaze. And I said to Dean, look, I want to start cutting solos with you there. You know what I mean? It was not from a production perspective. It was more from a morale mentoring perspective because he's a really good player. And I've known Dean for, 20, 25 years now. And so we did that. And at the same time, too, it was not only the guitar solos that got done there, but then it was Silvio's vocals that got produced there. And then when James came to the band, we also recorded James's guitars there as well.
Right.
So, yeah. He had an active involvement in the album, which is really good. And it was good to have people from more, it's like, how could you say, just from a more similar grounding to us that were involved in the album, which is great. We moved producers this time. We produced the album ourselves, but we moved to different engineers as well to give it more of a fresher sound as well. And I think it reflects okay on the album.
It's good, and you've kept it all in Australia, which is I love.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've got nothing against people who want to go overseas and do that sort of stuff, but this proves that there are people here who are talented enough and have the right chops to do it. So I implore anyone to do it.
And truth be known, man, it's look, we did audition a lot of people in regards to mixing the album too. We had some engineers from overseas and some engineers from here mix the album. We're very picky, we're very pedantic with the mixing process, and we ended up settling on a guy from Germany. But the truth be known, in regards to everything else, everything was made here in Melbourne. The engineers and the musicians and the networks we have here in Melbourne and in Australia in general is top class. A lot of people tend to go overseas, like you're saying, for everything to be done with an album. They'll go record at a studio which is costing nearly $5,000 a day.
Exactly.
Whereas here you can do it at a dude's house and get the same, if not better, results. So
Excellent. All right, we've got to pick some songs. You got to go back.
Which album looking
Well,
at,
I was looking at In Thought.
Wow.
So
I reckon go Forgotten Self.
Okay, track 2 off that one. I'm going to play a couple in a row. Well, you know what? I'm going to play 5.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm going to go from one from each album.
Oh.
Tangled in Dream.
Oh, man. I would say Tangled in Dream. I would say
This is also
Surreal.
testing your knowledge of all the track listings.
Well, funnily enough, actually, we played a gig just recently and we had a lot of people in the crowd yell out, we want you to play Surreal. So we're going to have to figure that out and relearn that song. It's like a cover band,
Okay, Surreal, that's track 1. Excellent. Embrace the Silence.
I reckon Season of Sundays from Embrace the Silence.
Okay, I usually, this doesn't affect you at all, but I've gone with Hollow and My Virtue off that album.
Well, you go with what you want to go with.
No,
I'm cool,
because
man.
I always go with those ones. So what did you say?
I reckon Season of Sundays. That's all right.
All right, Season of Sundays. Next, fourth season. This is going to be a tough one for you.
I would say go with the opener, Embodiment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at Ash and Sky. Okay. And the very latest one, Distant is the Sun.
I reckon.
Now this is because you've got to find a track on this one where people go, this is what we're about now.
I would definitely say go for When Truth Lies because we did the music clip for it as well. So I would say that's pretty much representative of what VP's like these days.
Excellent. Well, buddy, it's great to catch up with you. I'm going to play a whole bunch of your songs
Likewise,
by Vanishing Point here on Distortion, and
Thank you.
and all the best, and I'll see you at a gig.
Done deal, man. Thank you very much, and thank you to all the listeners out there. Cheers. Hi, this is Chris from Vanishing Point. You're listening to The Distortion on Triple M.
Did you just put on a radio voice?
Yeah, I did. I just put on a radio voice.
Awesome.